We're good. We're live. You gotta love it. Go live in 15,000 different places. We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We do TikTok, but TikTok and I are not friends. South Florida in the house. Where are you guys jumping in on? So we're specifically going to talk about where you have a leak in your business when it comes to comparing yourself to other successful entrepreneurs, especially women. As women, we do this a lot. And so I want to make sure you are not shrinking. You are not shrinking because there are places that you're shrinking in your business that is creating leaks for you. I was talking about this with my Brand Me on Demand students inside of our Inner Circle Mastermind, and I was just explaining to them, like, when you can figure out where in your business you have leaks and you can plug those leaks, then you can scale your business. But you've got to find the leaks. And one of the main leaks that I want to talk about, you're going to hear me say leak over and over and over again today. One of the main leaks I want to talk about is you shrinking because you are comparing yourself to another successful woman. And this is probably going to make you uncomfortable. This made me uncomfortable. This conversation was extremely uncomfortable. We've got Sherry listening in from Texas. Hi, Sherry. Because we are live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live everywhere. But it's going to make you uncomfortable. One of the reasons you have this leak is because you are comparing someone else's success to your success. You haven't defined even what success means for you. And so there's one leak right there. You haven't defined what success for you even looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. And so what happens is that when you compare, let's just say you're comparing your business to mine. My business does 4 million. And then you start comparing, well, I didn't do 4 million. I only did 100,000, or I only did 50,000, or I just got started in my brand. The leak is you haven't even defined what success means to you, what it looks like to you, how it feels. And so you're starting to compare what my success feels like, looks like for me, and you're comparing it to you. And that's a serious leak because the hardest part is your identity. Your sales are directly connected to your identity. And I didn't realize this for a long time. And I just want to help you through this really quick, is realizing that you look at your identity on what your result, your income, your bank statement, right? Instead of looking at your experience. You don't have to be this freaking social media influencer in order to monetize on your experience. I was doing this earlier with a woman, helping her map out a $200,000 year in her brand. And I said very simply to her, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And then I said to her, why do you feel like you're comparing your prices to another woman who's selling something similar to what you're selling? Why are you comparing it? And her answer is I don't feel like I have the right to charge this much because she has more certificates, more proof, more results than me. And I had to stop her. And I said to her, does any of that take away from the experience you've had, the shifts that you've made in your life to actually create the new results? The thing you're being called to teach or called to train or called to speak on is because you have directly been through an experience, you've elevated through it, and now you can look back at that experience and you can find the micro moments that you had that helped you get through it, that helped you get outside of that box that you were constantly in. And so I want to ask you the same question. Are you basing your prices your comparison of allowing other people to shrink you because of your identity. And when you're looking at your identity, are you basing it on your experience or are you basing it on sales? And that's something that you really have to look at, because if you want to step into this this woman who is empowering and powerful, and you want to create what I love to call an iconic movement, you cannot base your identity and how you sell off of how much money you make. I can't even do it. I can't do that. Because if I look at myself from last year and the year before that and the year before that, it doesn't matter how much money I've made. What matters is the experience that I've had, my conviction behind the experience I've had, and the identity that I'm selling from, the identity of how I'm mentoring from. Does that make sense? And so I'm going to come over here just to the comments really quick, because I see I wasted so much time comparing myself to others. Wow, this is hitting home. Tuning in live from Stuart, Florida. I love it. I love it. Good. So I see you and I hear you. And I just don't want all of you getting caught up in this, because the woman that you are shrinking for doesn't even know you exist. And I'm just going to keep it 100. I see all these Stripe notifications getting posted everywhere. And I had my first $1 million month and I am cheering them on. But there's also a part of me that's like, that's not how I'm going to lead. And that's not how I want to lead. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I am convicted in that. And so when you look at the comparison that you're doing, you need to identify, am I comparing her screenshots to my experience? Because her screenshots and my experience are completely different. And those screenshots will eventually be in your bank account as long as you are walking clear in the identity of that servant leadership. Iconic movements are not built because somebody made a lot of money. I don't care. There are people, by the way, that have literally made millions of dollars and can't recreate that because they never created an iconic movement and an ecosystem that goes with it. So sometimes you're also comparing yourself to people that are showing screenshots from 2-3 years ago. Stripe notifications, you don't see the date on it. You just see like they probably Canva, edited on there, right? Like I need you to understand these things. You're comparing yourself to something that might not even be real. And instead of you comparing yourself, I want you to sit down and create the identity of success based on your experience and where you are taking this movement, these women, these humans with your offers. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Angeline. It's so great to see you. All right. So we're clear on this, really? Okay. By the way, that woman is not malicious either. She's not malicious. She's not trying to get you, but you're letting her success dictate how you show up. And I need you to wake up to that today. So I have my notes over here. So you're going to see me look over here. It's not a strategy problem. It's not a confidence problem. It's not a you need to get better at scripts problem. It is an identity problem. And it's also an ecosystem problem. It's how you're bringing people into your world, how your people perceive you, perceive your brand. One of the things I'm going to be talking about in 2026 over and over and over again, you're going to hear me talk about, is you need to stop with this, I'm going to build a personal brand and I'm going to be an affiliate of all of these things. When I look at these women that most of you are comparing yourself to, these influencers on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever, and they have 1 million links for 1 million different things that they're selling. What I see that's missing, because I don't care how much money they're making, what I see that's missing is their ecosystem isn't strong. Their ecosystem doesn't have a foundation. And so if they stop showing up, they stop getting paid. And then when you think about it on a bigger level, like on a larger scale, if you have a power brand, you become an asset to your family, an asset to your financial future, an asset to those that you work with. Because now you're looking at the personal brands and the affiliate marketing and the social selling and just selling digital courses. And you're like, yeah, they're going to be working for the rest of their life really freaking hard because that churn rate is going to be extremely high. However, when you create and build an iconic movement with a solid foundation and an ecosystem that is attracting in the type of humans that want you and need you and want to work with you, you've built something that will last. Iconic movements build wealth. And I think that's really important. No one's saying that. No one's saying that out loud. Everybody's build a personal brand, have an affiliate link, have this, have that. What they're not understanding is that is exhausting. That's what's creating so many 6- and 7-figure earners that have been earning are in burnout. Their nervous systems are shot. They're exhausted. They're like, I'm done. And what they're doing is they're comparing themselves secretly when nobody is looking. They're comparing their success that they had to the success that they think they should be having. But what they don't have is an iconic movement with an ecosystem to support it. And so you shrink. Let me explain some shrinking moments. Let me describe a moment because I think this will be really, really helpful, okay? Let's say you're in a DM. You're in a sales call. You're in a consult. Maybe you're in a comment thread. Then all of a sudden, the person on the other side of that DM hesitates. And when she hesitates, something happens in your body. All of a sudden, you soften, and you're like, okay, I need to explain more. I'm losing her. You start to feel like you're losing the lead. So then you start over explaining. You start over delivering. You start teaching. Instead of guiding, instead of leading, you start teaching and over giving. And so what happens is you start to shrink in your posture and in your language. It starts before you even make the sale. And so you don't even realize that you're doing it. You're not leading anymore. Now you're starting to accommodate. You're starting to enable your prospect. Hear me. You're enabling your prospect. And when you start enabling, you start to kill your authority. Yeah. That should be like a mind moment for some of you. That should be like a, oh, I get it moment for you. Okay. So you're going to recognize this in a couple of places. One, you drop the price before she even asks for it. That's one place. You're adding bonuses. She didn't even request bonuses. And you're just like, I'm going to keep adding them. I'm going to add a bunch of bonuses. You're saying no pressure, when there wasn't any anyway. You see the language that you're changing? The over-explaining what should be an obvious decision, and then creating content. Oh, you're creating enabling content. You're creating content that soothes them, not disrupts, not wakes them up, not leads, but literally you are soothing them with your content. That's not good. If that hit, you need to stay with me because you're shrinking, and we need to not shrink in 2026. You have to stand out. If you're going to use any kind of social media, email marketing, any kind of funnels, I don't care if you're in network marketing, you have to stand out. And the way you're going to stand out from everyone else this year is stop posting and start publishing. Stop shrinking and start expanding. Start elevating. That's what's going to make you different. So instead of you tweaking, you need to be repositioned. You need to reposition your brand to become a power brand. You also need to reposition your ecosystem so it attracts the luxury leads that you actually want to work with. So you're not performing all the time on social media. So you don't have to dance for views. We'll have a whole nother video that talks about metrics and views and the vanity of it and how you can let go of all of that. But here's what's happening. The performing doesn't feel aligned for you at all. And you're seeing these performances that are happening from influencers, affiliates. You're seeing them perform as far as like, I did X amount of dollars in X amount of days, and I did it while I was sleeping. Like, you're seeing all this stuff. And so in your head, you're shrinking yourself because you're like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But here's the pull that's happening. You have a pull because your soul knows that you're meant for more than just digital marketing. You're meant more than just, I want to make $1 million a year. Your content is being called to evolve. It's being called up. The thing that hasn't caught up with all of that is your identity. It goes right back into the beginning. What identity are you activating every single day? What identity are you selling from? What identity are you leading from? What identity are you posting from? Not even posting. What identity are you publishing from? And is this identity that you're acting from, is it helping the person that you come in contact with become 10% better, or are you soothing them? See, a lot of coaches right now are like, I'll take $1. So I'll give them whatever they want just so I can make $1. And then you start comparing yourself to, well, why can't I create an iconic movement? Because you're just chasing the buck. You're chasing the buck. And your body is literally telling you that I'm not in alignment with that anymore. And so half of you is a leader and half of you is a people pleaser. Because you're hovering, you're soothing them with your content. That is the burnout. That is the most exhausting place that you could actually be in. The most exhausting place that you can actually be in is creating content that doesn't feel aligned into the calling, into the iconic movement that you are being called to build. Okay. So let's talk about the identity collapse. So I want you to hear this. The moment that you feel like you have to start explaining yourself is the moment that you and your brand is not being perceived as an authority, like at all. Authority doesn't convince. Authority doesn't chase. Authority doesn't have to stack 1,000,000 things with an offer in order for you to feel like it's good enough to actually pitch. Authority decides. Authority is decision. When you think about 6, 7, 8-figure earners, or you think about Tony Robbins, you think about Mel Robbins, you think about, name some people in the comment section of like people that you follow, people that influence you. I feel this being called up. Yes, Carla, being called up. Your identity. Yes, your identity. Who are some of these, Amy Porterfield, right? I'm thinking of women in my world, that inspire me. And when I think about them, when I think about these women, when I think about these humans, and when I look at them, they make decisions and they help other people make decisions. So if we want to move the needle, we have to already made the decision on our identity ourselves so we can help someone else become 10% better and make a decision to move. And when you don't decide who you are, your audience is going to decide for you. And this is where I see so many people who built personal brands, made 6 figures, even 7, who now feel like they are starting over and they don't know how they created what they created. And now the audience is deciding what link they share. The audience is deciding what program they create. Their audience is deciding how they show up and how much they need to show up. And now they need to be posting 5, 6, 7 reels a day in order to keep them engaged. And it just becomes this performance instead of you leading in authority. Does that make sense? So this is why you're visible, but you're not positioned. And that's a crappy place to be. And here's what I'm seeing with a lot of 6 and 7 figure earners right now. And I don't care if you made it in this industry or you've made it in your career. Most of you don't even look at your careers and what you've accomplished and the experience you've had, and you don't even use that as numbers. Who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to one of the Brand Me On Demand students, and I asked her, it was Wendy, and I asked Wendy, and I said, Wendy, I said, put aside your coaching business, put aside your network marketing business and what you've done. What did you do as far as sales as a recruiter? Would you say in the 25 years that you worked in that industry for your career, that you got paid a salary for, what would you say was your average total sales in 25 years? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, we should probably figure that out. Weren't you like in the top 1% of your company? Yeah. Okay. What was the average contract that you would close? Around 80,000. Okay. How many of those do you think you did in 25 years? And we came up with the number of $191 million in contracts that Wendy closed in her 25-year career. Now, hold on. We took her identity in that moment from, I haven't made any sales in my offer yet, so how do I know I'm worthy of charging that much? I'm seeing Jane over here who showed that she made $1 million selling her product, and that's how she's selling her product. So I can't sell my product. This is what you guys are doing. I said, no. We need to sell from your identity and your experience. You sold or recruited or had in contracts over $191 million in a 25-year period. She's like, I never thought of it that way. I said, I need you leading from that. That is a part of your identity that you need to lead from your authority. That needs to be in all your bios. That is a credibility piece. And so I want you to look right now at your career and whatever you've done, and I want you to write it down. Write it down. What exactly did you do in your career that you're not using as an authority piece in your business for your ecosystem? That's a massive miss. That's a massive leak in your identity. Okay? We don't want our audience deciding for us. We are going to decide the identity that we lead from. Okay? Where else does this show up? You're dreading getting on the phone with people to talk about your offers. You feel bored teaching. That was me. I have a whole secret podcast that's coming. I have a 4-act secret podcast that's coming on what I did in 2025 wrong, what I did right, and where I was performing and where I became very bored and where I had to elevate in my own identity in order to create an income goal for 2026, right? If you feel like a fish out of water in your business, you're not broken. That's just your identity asking for an upgrade, like a massive upgrade, okay? So most women think the answer is more content, better funnels. I just need to push harder. I'm not being consistent enough, when actually that's not it at all. And I hope that's a huge sigh of relief for you. It's just making sure that your brand is being perceived as an authority and that your brand is an asset, You are an asset when you show up for your audience. That's how I want you to think about it. Okay. It's your posture. And so you can't fake posture. It's something that you have to claim. And so a really great starting point is looking at what you've done in the last 20, 25 years in your career, in a job, in a sales position, wherever you were, putting it on paper and actually looking at it and making it tangible. And that needs to be a part of your identity and what you're leading from. Okay. When you stop shrinking and you step into this identity, your content is going to become quieter, but it's going to be sharp. Like it's going to be, oh my God, how did she know I was thinking that? Oh my God, was she in the room the other day when I was literally thinking about this? Your sales are going to feel cleaner. Your energy is going to come back. You're going to be excited. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but for those of you that have been around for a while, like 2025, Marina Simone was leveling up her identity into this newest version of herself. And I wasn't as excited as I am today. My energy came back, and it's not because I'm doing more. It's because I'm finally aligned with the newest version of me, who I am becoming. That's leadership. And I want you all to stop thinking of this word leadership as how much money you're making. Leaders help other humans make decisions to move forward. That's simple. And so right now I'm going to speak directly to this woman who slayed somewhere in life, somewhere in business at some point, and you're on this live longer than you planned to be, I'm sure, but that's okay. And you didn't come on here because you needed another tip. Everything I started talking about felt really familiar. This is not sales advice. This isn't scripts that I'm giving you. You really did hear this identity truth. So for those of you that are watching live with me, drop a 1 in the comment section if you're like, oh God, yes, like this identity conversation was exactly what I needed to hear. I don't need another script. I don't need another go post 25,000 times a day. Hell, I don't need another bot that's going to post for me. I need to feel the conviction behind the identity. Look at all the ones. Yes. Yes. Look at all the ones. That's what I love to see. All these ones coming in. Okay. Good. So what you heard is this identity truth. That's why I didn't build another course. I built an ecosystem. You're going to hear me say over and over and over again in 2026, what is your ecosystem for your power brand that is an asset? And what iconic movement is it building into? Because it is no longer post get paid, make a bunch of sales in your sleep. And if it is, it won't last. I know because I'm coaching them right now. I'm coaching those exact women who've made 6 and 7 figures, and everything that they were doing is not working now. And so instead, I had my COO, she came down, Donna Valdez, I think she's on, I saw her. And we sat for 48 hours straight. Did I shower? I don't know. We might not have showered. And we mapped out the exact luxury lead ecosystem for my power brand, for my iconic movement, and for Brand Me on Demand. And as we were doing this, I was like, wow, this is so aligned. Like I could do this every day. I want to do this every day. I want to create content for this every day. I don't feel burned out anymore. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do more in order to get paid more. Like I'm not feeling that push and that pull anymore. And so I wanted to create something really different and something special. And Donna and I spent 48 hours of just magic creating the luxury lead ecosystem. So this is for the woman who's like, I don't need to explain more. I don't want to hustle harder. I want a brand that is an asset and reflects on who I've become and who I'm becoming. Hear what I just said, okay? There's not urgency in this ecosystem. It's about alignment. Because when you, I'm not even going to explain it. We already talked about it. The luxury lead ecosystem, we are creating a wait list for it. I've never taken as much detail as we have put together for this ecosystem launch for your brand, for your power brand, for your asset. And we're doing a wait list because I don't want to rush women. I want to honor grounded women as we move through this. And so if today showed you that you're shrinking, if today showed you that you soften when you sell, if you are soothing in your content, if you feel like a fish out of water in your content, like it just feels like you dread posting, like it doesn't matter. Like if I told you exactly what to post, like it wouldn't feel aligned for you because you've outgrown it. You're done soothing your audience. You're called for this iconic movement. Then the wait list for the luxury lead ecosystem is absolutely your next step. We're not performing in the ecosystem. We are designing this ecosystem together. And when you create this ecosystem, your brand becomes this asset. And that's what we're focused on in 2026. So if you want to be on the wait list, just drop the word wait list in the comment section, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube, wherever you are, and we'll get the wait list link to you. I'll also put it above for those of you that are watching the replay. Drop the word replay. Hello, we're so excited to have you here, Marina Simone. But if you felt seen by this conversation, if you felt seen by this, okay, just know that the room that we built inside of this ecosystem is exactly what you're looking for. Because I want women to stop shrinking. I want women to stop comparing. I want women to operate from an identity that they should be that they should be operating from. Okay, so drop the word waitlist. We are personally reaching out to you so you can get on this wait list. There is no performing in this. Inside of this ecosystem, you will create yourself as an asset, and that is something that no one can ever take from you. And so I'm excited to see you guys on the wait list. More to come. I see all the wait lists dropping. Wait list. I see you guys. Yes, we are going to get to you ASAP. If you're over on YouTube, I will drop the wait list link inside of the pinned comment. If you're on Instagram, I'm going to put the wait list inside of the link in my bio. And if you're on Facebook, I will put it on the top, the wait list, and I will reply to each of you inside the comment section as well. It's time for you to stop shrinking. It's time for you to stop shrinking. It's time for you to build your iconic movement. You will see that when you publish instead of post, woo, power is going to happen. So I'm excited for you guys to check it out and get on the wait list, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.